Good afternoon, my beautiful soul followers. Welcome to Addison Unleashed. I just tried to do this, so if you were on, it got the video because my internet got canceled out. But if you're new to Addison Unleashed, I am Addison Bell, orgasmic life frequency coach, helping you to not just have an amazing bedroom, but also to bring that same orgasmic energy, expansive energy into your life in general. And so today we're really going to be focusing in on environments like I had started to do before the internet went out. So environment is a huge piece. We are at the beginning of the year still, February 1st today. A lot of people are still excited, really still excited about their goals and desires for the year were still fresh. And technically it is Chinese New Year today. And so a lot of people have these desires for their life. And a lot of my clients have reached out and they said, Addison, I was doing so good the first week or two of January and now I'm falling down. I'm falling down. And what do? I really do desire these things in my life. And a lot of times, our environment plays a huge role in why we struggle to grow and why we struggle to move forward. This came from a conversation I was having yesterday. I was sharing a kind of a goal with another practitioner, and this other practitioner said, well, your environment isn't really supporting that. And I was like, I know that. And so I have to shift some of the environmental pieces in order for me to meet that goal. And again, I hear this from my clients over and over and over again. So you can have all the best of intentions, but if you have your environment against you, it really can impact your growth and your ability to reach the goals that you really do want. So because I was a therapist before this, I did lots of schooling for psychology. And one of the things we would say as therapists over and over again was that genetics loads the gun and environment pulls the trigger on lots of mental health issues, but also our physical health. And the same thing goes when we are really trying to reach a goal. So we might have all the things in place. We might be like, I'm going to exercise every single day. But if you come home and your spouse is like, why don't we just snuggle instead? Why don't we, get fast food for dinner? And is really kind of enabling you to be lazy or not step up in your life, that is going to play in. Now, the fact is, we cannot look at those around us and blame them. It's not their fault. We're not playing that game here. Not at Addison Bell Coaching. We are not playing the blame game of it's their fault. Because it's not their fault. It's your choice. At the end of the day, if you really desire something, you can get there. However, our environment does play this huge role. A lot of times we don't realize how programmed, and yes, I use the term programmed, from our brains. The fact is, you wake up, you do the exact same thing, most likely every single morning. You get up, you make your coffee, you check your phone, you check your email, maybe you go, for myself, I go and I hang out with my cats a little bit, give them some love, give them some food. And you create this environment. You create this habit and this pattern. And that habit and pattern also comes with the same mental habits and patterns. So when you're making your coffee, you're stressing about going to work. When you are, taking a shower, you might be thinking about all the emails you have to respond to. And you are creating that pattern, and that is part of your environment. A lot of people in our lives and our environment wants to support us. It's like, no, I want you to get to where you want to go. However, Our environment doesn't like us to change. Our environment does not like change. The people in our lives want a sense of homeostasis. They want that feeling of comfort. And guess what? When we change, it's not comfortable. And we want that same comfort too. And so when we come home and maybe we want to go exercise, and our partner's like, why don't you just come snuggle on the couch with me and watch Netflix? Guess what? That is comfortable. And you might be like, okay, yeah, that's lazy. You just need to do it. You need to do it anyway. You need to say no. But when we get down to the little nitty-gritty thoughts, our environment plays a huge role. Maybe it won't stop you from going and exercising if you're really determined. But I now want you to think about your environment in terms of the words that are spoken and the energy that is being surrounding your space. I'm struggling to talk today. That is surrounding your space. So if you are constantly being cut down, then that is going to keep you in this mindset and constantly having to battle this mindset that you are constantly immersed in. I remember having a client, it's a year or two ago, and this particular client was surrounded by negative talk. She could not get away from it. No matter what she did, she was just not able to get away from it because it was abusive and it was in her family. And I remember her looking at me and going, Addison, what do I do? How do I want to make these changes. I want to do all of this beautiful stuff. And my response to her was, you have to first change your environment. And that was a very severe case. That was like a very, very, like I said, a severe case where I was like, husband, kids, like, this is a toxic environment at this point. But most of us don't really live in extreme toxic environments. Most of us live with people that generally love us, care about us, want our best. But I really want you to look at the environment you're putting yourself in when it comes to the language that is spoken, the language that you fall into. Again, it's not about blaming anybody else. It's not going, well, they keep saying negative stuff or their energy is negative, so it's their fault. It's recognizing where you and myself are get into this energy of falling down, really allowing ourselves to fall into those kind of pits when our environment starts trying to pull us back in. So let me give you an example here. So if you're like, I'm going to think positive, and you get home and your kids are bitching up a storm, they're like, I hate my teacher, your wife is screaming. The fact is, you need to recognize, oh wow, okay, right now, I have an environmental trigger that is going to potentially shift my energy. What can I do right now in this moment to shift that? If your goal, if your desire is to be more positive, but you're not making those changes in the moment to go, I'm not going to fall into this right now. Or, okay, I see all this negativity happening right here outside of me. How can I respond in a different way in order to support myself and support the people that I love and care about? If you have somebody in your life that's like, oh, you don't have to exercise, you look fine, and it is an enabler, mentally note, okay, that person loves me, but they're enabling me. They're enabling me to be lazy, to not step up. Again, those around us and our environment gets freaked out when we start to change. So if every single morning your spouse is like, oh, just hit the snooze, then guess what? It's up to you to go, no, I'm not going to hit the snooze. No, I'm not going to listen to you right now. I'm going to do what I need to do for me. Even though, yeah, it would be comfortable to stay in bed and chillax. The fact is, it's time for me to get up, get out of bed, and really attack my day. our environments really do make a huge impact. And so I'm doing this video today because I really want you all to look at not just even the people in your environment, but I also want you to look at the things in your environment. If you have, an old statue, a statue that your ex-boyfriend gave you, and you walk by it every day and it gives you just but it's a nice statue. It's a nice statue. You don't want to get rid of the statue because it's like a super expensive statue. But it gives you that every single morning. Then guess what? That is an environmental trigger. And that is triggering a piece of your brain. It's triggering thoughts automatically. Guess what? You're a computer. You are not, we want to believe that we are above all this. No, I control all my thoughts. Well, guess what? If our thoughts and our brains work pretty quickly, almost on demand. And yes, we can change our thoughts. We can make differences in our belief systems and make a difference in our lives. However, we also have to be real and look at our lives and go, okay, what is triggering me away from what I'm desiring? How is my environment really not supporting me? Or maybe you have an amazing environment that supports you. Yay, you. How can you expand that environment? Because I know for me, I have some beautiful environments that really do expand me and help me grow. And I have some people in my life that are in my environment that will call me out on my shit and be like, no, I'm not taking that, girl. I'm not taking that. And guess what? That's a beautiful piece of my environment. And so how can I expand that? That's the questions I ask myself. And so today I'm going to ask you the same thing. I want you to walk around your home, your workplace if you don't work at home, because so many people work at home these days, thanks to COVID. The places you really frequent. And I want you tomorrow, because the day is almost over, I want you to really pay attention. What is the language that is used? What is the energy? What is the energy in the space? Do you walk into the space and there's just a negative energy? Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Can you go do some cleansing? Can you fix? You can always reach out to me. I can help you figure out how to do some of that stuff. How can you change that energy? If there are people in your life that are continually pulling you down with their energy and the way they talk, how can you shift your schedule a little bit so that you are maybe a little padded when you do come in contact with them, so that maybe their words don't impact you quite the same. Then I also want you to walk around your home, your space, and see what elements trigger you. Do you have pictures on the wall? Do you have clothes that, every time you look at that jacket in your closet, you have a negative reaction? All this stuff needs to be cleaned and cleansed. And then you need to own where you're falling victim to your environment. Because guess what? Most of us do. And so it takes us really opening our eyes and looking and going, okay, no, I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to clear, I'm going to cleanse, I'm going to just choose something else. I'm going to choose to not interact in the same way. I'm going to choose to shift my schedule so I'm not spending the same time, or I'm going to set some boundaries. I'm going to set some of those lovely boundaries to go, hey, I can't do this anymore. So I had to do that right before January 1st. I had gotten into a pattern in the morning, and I had been talking to somebody else in the morning, and I was like, I finally had to go, I can't do this anymore because it's starting my morning off in a way I don't want to start my morning off. And so I had to shift that environment in order to be my best self. So all that to say, go check out your environment. Also, if you're having any, and I'm not a medical doctor, but if you're having any medical issues, I also challenge you to look at your environment and where is your environment supporting those medical issues. So, because a lot of our dis-ease comes from dis-ease in ourselves. And guess what? A lot of that dis-ease comes from our mind, which is triggered by what? Our environment. So go check all that out. I know that was a lot of information. I hit you with a whole bunch today. But really go look at your environment and see how it's potentially a trap, keeping you stuck from really achieving the things that you deserve in your life and you really desire and are willing to work for. So do that overview of your environment, and I look forward to actually hearing from you guys. Below, let me know what you are shifting in your environment. What are you shifting? Where are you making space? Where are you not going to interact in the same way that you used to in order to really support yourself? So, on another note, this morning I put out a brand new February special. It is my Embody Love Somatic Energy Work special. So you can go check that out if you're in the DFW area or coming to the DFW area. Then it is a beautiful opportunity for you to step into more self-love, to step into some beautiful energy work and just receive, because we do not receive enough. It's always good to get more love and to take the time to really embody ourselves just a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, you can head over to my website, addisonbell.net, and check that out. Other than that, I will see you guys soon for another Addison Unleashed. Love y'all. Bye.